The Chicago Bulls have been receiving calls surrounding Alex Caruso, but they have been reluctant to trade Alex Caruso, even entertain those conversations. And I say it might be a good thing. Y'all know we gonna talk about it, but you gotta hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode of Shy Boys Podcast with me and my co-host CDubb. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. So every time we drop, you'll be one of the first ones to know. Now, look, we know that the Chicago Bulls should really make some changes with their team and would try to provide some type of direction for what we should look like in the future as far as the team. We know that Zach LaVine has already requested a trade. I'm having a CDubb moment. Shout out to Unc. We know that Zach LaVine has requested a trade already, and we know, and we've been hearing some rumblings from Shams and other reports saying that the Bulls are not close on extension talks with DeMar DeRozan, and DeMar DeRozan by the trade deadline might be gone. So that's part kind of like why I'm kind of leaning into Alex Caruso might be staying, or he should be staying. And it's not so bad that the Chicago Bulls are not really entertaining trading Alex Caruso. We do know he is one of the coveted players, probably more so than anybody else on this Bulls team. And I honestly believe it. I understand why. I understand there might be a return for Alex Caruso, but what kind of return would that entail for us? Will it be for a couple players? Will it be for a couple first-round picks? Probably so, if the Bulls were to go in that direction and try to move Alex Caruso out of town. But here are a few reasons why I believe that allowing Alex Caruso to remain on the Chicago Bulls is probably still a good thing versus than not being a bad thing. We already talked about it. You can definitely make changes to your team with trading Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. You can make those changes, but there comes a time to where you look at it and be like, how much change is necessary? And if you do just go ahead and just gut the entire, let's say the veterans, all the veterans, you can get rid of Vooch, you can get rid of DeMar, you can get rid of LaVine, you can get rid of Caruso. So we just gonna stick with those four. So you come to those terms and you look at everything that's surrounding that. You be like, man, you got four guys who can bring you in, who can bring in something for you. But where are these guys that's coming in going to play? Where are they going to play? Because if you go ahead and you saying, for the sake of discussion, let's trade the core three, you know what I'm saying? That's Vooch, DeMar, and Zach. You're going to get a return, and I'm pretty sure there's going to have to be some fillers in there, contract fillers with the additional players just to make that money get close enough to make sure that it's good to go. You're going to have a bevy of players coming in that might not even be around. Yes, I understand the need and the want for more draft picks, but let's keep it a buck. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they have a boatload of draft picks. They will select players, but let's be honest. Most of those players will either be around the team or they might not. And I think more than not, they won't be around the team depending on how many draft picks. I believe that the Oklahoma City Thunder have built out kind of like their core of what they want for the team. That'll be SGA. That'll be Chet Holmgren. Then you got guys like Jalen Williams coming in. You got your three, and then you still got other young players that still come in and contribute. But is that going to really move the meter? Because I think now, if you're looking at OKC, now they have to start to get win now players. You know what I'm saying? Instead of continuously trying to go and search, you know what I'm saying, for which prospect will eventually prevail and be something that's probably on the same par of a SGA, a Chet Holmgren, or a Jalen Williams. So I'm looking at the Bulls situation. I'm like, hey, the Chicago Bulls, I believe they have three young guys that they can kind of run with. or that they should be able to run with, and then just kind of continue to fill this thing out. That's with Iodo Sumu, Kobe White, and Patrick Williams. That's your three young guys that you invested in, who you believe can be the driving force to a brighter future. And then it was just reported not too long ago that the Bulls are looking for win now players. So we know that the front office has always wanted to be competitive. They still want to remain competitive. And if you gut everybody or trade everybody, the future might look bright if you're saying that we got a bunch of draft picks, but we know that all draft picks don't pan out. And we know that the Bulls, well, a lot of us, we got to keep it a buck. Let's be honest. We don't really know if the front office has the ability to draft that next superstar. You know what I'm saying? We believe they can, but we don't really know as of right now. So when you talk about Alex Caruso, he allows the Chicago Bulls to have balance. And what I mean by balance is you have a balance of veterans with combine that with some young guys that'll be all right for the team. Alex Caruso is not a guy that's going to come in and cause problems. He's the ultimate versatile player, the Swiss Army knife for some people that like to use that analogy. He can come in and give you minutes. He can start for you. He can come off the bench. He can guard 1 through 4. He can do just about everything. He's shooting career highs in three-point shots. He's been pretty damn efficient from the field, with his field goal percentage. So I think that's a guy you kind of want to keep around. And then another reason you want to keep him around is his leadership to the team. This guy has a championship under his belt, so he's going to bring that championship experience. He's going to be that guy that can, I'm not going to say that be that mentor, maybe like a DeMar DeRozan type, but he can be that veteran voice in the locker room. And it's not only going to be shown by the things that he says, it's actually going to reflect on the court, because the man continuously is injured because he gives up his body just about every single play. So you got to look at that. So when he provides that balance, when he provides that leadership to the team and the versatility that he can provide, it makes you wonder, like, man, why will we give this guy up when we believe that he's one of those win now players that the Chicago Bulls front office desires? You know what I'm saying? We already know this front office is patient. And I don't think that right now, I believe that Alex Caruso has another year or two left on his contract. And I think that now is not the time. You can see what you can, look like with him still on the team. And if you combining him along with Javon Carter, Torrey Craig, Nikola Vucevic, along with the young guys, Julian Phillips, Iodo Sumu, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, that's a nice mix of players. And because we know, if we're looking at examples of teams that's just completely ran by young guys, we look at a year or two, probably the last 2 years with the Houston Rockets, complete immaturity to where they didn't run out, but the guy got fired. And the last coach, I believe his name was Silas, and down there. And then they started to gain some maturity when they got a new guy at the head coaching spot in Ime Udoka. And then you brought in some veterans like Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. So now it seems as if the temperature on the team has changed. The mindset of the team has changed. That's one thing that me and Steve-O, CDubb, Kev, we always talk about on the live calls. Where are the veterans, to make these guys get on the right track? Because we talked about Zion Williamson. We know how talented he is, but if he had a good veteran around him to help him, to say, hey, this is how you're supposed to carry yourself within the NBA. Hey, at this moment, this is how you're supposed to do this. Condition is important because, hey, you need to chill out on this, because things like that. I think Alex Caruso can provide that along with the other veterans who had some success in this NBA. So I don't think you completely wash all that out. And I think a player like Alex Caruso can provide a spark and kind of be that, that guy that you look to, maybe in comparison to maybe some guys you probably look at what Bruce Brown was able to provide for the Denver Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Just a guy that was very, very versatile, came in, defended his tail off, and was able to give the Denver Nuggets things offensively. And you think about one guy who's kind of bounced around a little bit these last few years, but PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying? He's he is a guy that's going to come in. He can go ahead and guard the other opposing team's best player and give maximum effort, even though in a lot of those matchups he's undersized. He can come in. We know at one point of his career, probably like the last few years or so before this year, he was automatic from the three. So he was giving you that corner three. Let's preface that, automatic from the corner three, or at least trying to be automatic. Let's be clear. So I think that Alex Caruso, him sticking around might actually be a good thing. I don't think you have to give him up now if you're going to move other guys who can still garner you more players and picks, like a DeMar DeRozan and a Zach LaVine. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because we already know Zach LaVine is pretty much out the door. DeMar DeRozan, if the stitching can't get done, I believe he's pretty much out the door. With those trades that can come from them, you can garner enough players and picks and enough players to where you don't have to completely make this thing over. You could probably let some go and then hang on to some who you believe as an organization can help you win games now. Would the Bulls be a championship contender? Absolutely not. But if it just won't happen. So I think that you got to keep a guy like Alex Caruso around just a little bit longer. I'm not saying hold on to him forever, even though it will be nice because he is an epitome of what the Chicago Bulls show each and every night, or how they're supposed to come out and perform each and every night. The man goes hard. The man is able to do things all throughout the game. His presence is felt every single time he steps on the court. So I'm not mad at keeping him around just a little bit longer. I'm with the Bulls front office. Don't get rid of him now. Allow him to stick around just a little bit longer. See what you can garner when you trade Zach LaVine and maybe DeMar DeRozan if you can't come to terms to where you can get close enough. And then you can see what his impact can be to where you can still win games. We already know the Bulls are not going to the finals, but the point is that you have a duty and a job to put out the best product. Me personally, I don't like tanking. Me personally, I don't like rebuilds. I understand that some of those things come into play. But if you keep Alex Caruso here, along with the other veterans that I believe that's going to be here to grow and help, mold this team out with the young guys and let those young guys continue to ascend, and you add a few pieces here and there, will we be better? Possibly. We seen the best that the Chicago Bulls was in these last 3 years was a first round exit. I'm saying the Bulls you can very well be a first round exit with a brighter future, because right now the future isn't so bright. So y'all, that's it for me today. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about it all. Say, nephew or Bobby, you tripping. We definitely should move Alex Caruso along with the other guys that are being reported that they might be moved. Or if you rocking with it, or if you feel like I got a couple good points in there, let me know, and let me know why. Don't just disagree just to disagree. Let's talk basketball. But that's it for me, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. So every time we drop, you'll be one of the first ones to know. If you want to sound off on this video right here or something in the past, call in and leave a voicemail so you can be on the mailbag episode. 773-242-9219. It's another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac.